Good morning, everyone. I didn't want to have to do this, but I made a video for you guys on Friday, and YouTube ate it. So here I go trying to do it again. Welcome to my office. Last week I was recording from my dining room, and over the weekend I was able to get this straightened up a little bit and ready to work up here where hopefully it's a little bit quieter. You'll still hear lots of other people in the house. My husband's home right now, as well as both my kids. So you never know what's going to happen. That's the beauty of homeschooling in this way. So please rest assured, I miss you guys, really. I know you're a loud and obnoxious class, but I still miss you. And I hope that we can work this out to get back together again really soon. Last week we had, hold on here just a second, let me see if I can get this. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this. Last week we had a video that we watched about the first part of this chapter, which was Southern Africa, the country of South Africa. Here we go. That works. All right. So we learned about the Sahara and how it takes up a good portion of the northern part of Africa, but that the most of the rest of Africa is grasslands. Doesn't get a whole lot of rain in some areas. Some areas do, some don't. We learned about some of the major rivers there, but mostly South Africa was where we spent the bulk of our time. And South Africa, of course, has a lot of gold and diamonds, things that you would think would make the country rich, but it doesn't necessarily. They also have their share of problems. We're going to talk about some of those in some of the other countries as well today. We're going to talk about these three countries today: Botswana, Namibia, and Angola. And I dare say most of us have we may have heard of these countries, but we don't really recognize the names or anything about them. Most of these countries are very poor countries, but we're going to, let's talk about what they have to offer the rest of the world as well. Most of these countries are mostly desert. Some of them have a little bit of grasslands in them, but they are mostly desert. That big Kalahari Desert in the south is part of these. Botswana was a British protectorate named Bechuanaland. And it became a nation in 1966, so not that long ago. The country is the largest producer of gem quality diamonds in the world. And there, like I said, you would think this might make the country rich, but it doesn't. The country's still very, very poor, and only a few people really benefit from those diamonds. So they had a group of Bushmen that they called the San. The Bantus and Europeans drove them out of South Africa and into Botswana. So that is where they live today. They were hunters and gatherers, and they still are. They don't really necessarily even have a permanent home. They move around with the animals, hunting the animals as they can. That Kalahari Desert is one of the largest in the world, sixth largest in the world, and it lies directly on the Tropic of Capricorn. Remember that these two lines, the Tropic of Cancer and the Tropic of Capricorn, denote the land that is tropical. South of the Tropic of Capricorn, north of the Tropic of Cancer, the weather gets a little bit better, but within that the tropic zone, it's going to be hot all the time. Okay, this is the Okavango River. It has the largest inland delta in the world. This is their largest basin where they get the majority of their fresh water. And this is the Namib Desert. It stretches along the coastline of the Atlantic Ocean. Again, it's separate from the Kalahari, but right in there with it. So all just a lot of desert. The interesting thing is the weather here off the coast of Namibia, because they get the cold water off of the Atlantic and that mixes with that hot, dry air from the Namib Desert, and the two things mixing together create dense, dense fogs right off the coast. So the shoreline has gotten the nickname Skeleton Coast because of so many shipwrecks that have happened there. It'd be an interesting phenomenon to see. Windhoek here pictured is the capital of Namibia. It was a German colony, which was, what happened was after World War I, Germany was forced to give up all of their lands all over the world. They could not have any territories anymore. So they were given by mandate, or what happened was the League of Nations took control of them. League of Nations, kind of like the UN today, but it was the World War I version of it. The League of Nations took control of all of those territories and gave it to another country that had been responsible during World War I, that was on the good side, the winning side, and let them run it. So South Africa controlled Namibia after World War I, which was then called Southwest Africa. So they made it through World War II. They had a lot of problems with communism trying to take over in Namibia. They finally gained their independence in 1990. Again, you know, that's what, 30 years is all they've been independent. Angola is the next country we're going to look at. How would you like to drive that road? Warfare has kept them from benefiting from their abundant natural resources in Angola. They do have arable or farmable land. They have lots of diamonds, but they also are having terrible internal struggles, just civil war constantly. The Portuguese influence is very strong here because the Portuguese are the ones who originally settled this land, as from the European aspect of settling it. And Portuguese is still the official language of the government, although most of the people there speak Afrikaans. This is Luanda, the capital of Angola. After several years of fighting, Portugal granted Angola their independence in 1975. So again, you're talking about a country that has only been independent for 45 years. They've again still had struggles in that 45 years. They've had some Marxism that has tried to take control, which is communism. 94% of the people, though, still claim to be part of a Christian church. And that's pretty impressive, since Marxism would have tried to destroy any semblance of Christianity at all. So the fact that they have some Christians in Angola is really good. And it just proves God's word that he will preserve it, regardless of what goes on in the government. Okay, so the Zambezi River is the river that David Livingstone explored, if you're familiar with him. It rises in southern Zambia and flows across southern Africa to the Indian Ocean. He crossed the continent on the Zambezi River between 1853 and 1856. Really pretty. Mozambique. Okay, like Angola on the western coast, Mozambique was a large Portuguese colony on the eastern coast. So with two different coasts, you have Angola on the one side, Mozambique on the other. And again, you have a problem with communism and Marxism trying to control the country, but they still won their independence in 1975, and Portuguese remains their official language as well. Angola, lots of diamonds, but they have a real problem with HIV and AIDS in that country as well. Mozambique has similar problems. The long coast makes Mozambique vital to shipping and transportation. It's right, if you're picturing that map of Africa in your head, the island of, what is the name of that island? Right off the coast of Africa is right beside Mozambique. Let me see. It is Madagascar. That's it. That's the right one. I'm trying to remember all of these. But the M countries are together, the Z countries are together, and the T countries are together on your map. I hope you're practicing your map. I'm not sure that I'm ready to get into Mozambique so much yet. I really want to remind you that on the website, on our Google class page, I have put the map and the map practice for you to keep working on. I'm not sure how I'm going to do testing yet. I'm still trying to play with some ideas and see what would work best. But in the meantime, you've got all of your notes there on your Google Classroom page. You've got a link to the map and a link to practice with the map for Southern and Eastern Africa. I will post more videos as we get through the week, and take the notes, take the time to watch the video a couple of times if you need to. Watch it slowly. And as I said, take the handwritten notes. Once this video posts, of course, there's a quiz attached with it, and I want you to take the quiz as soon as you finish taking your notes with the video. You're going to be fine. We're all going to work through this together, and later this week we'll try to have a live class. There have been several things I think I wanted to tell you in this video that I have completely forgotten, so hopefully in a live class will be a little bit better for that. If you have questions or problems, let me know. I do have a few of you that have not yet submitted your project online, so I need to make sure that you are doing that and get that in. I will try to get those graded as fast as possible, but some of your pictures are not that clear, so give me a little bit of time with those. Some of the other grades I have posted, and those I'm posting back into RenWeb so that you can look there. And then I also told you about doing the SRQs for the chapter. I do not want you to submit those one at a time. I want you to do all of the SRQs for the whole chapter a little at a time on the same document, and then submit the whole document at the end. That takes a little bit of discipline on your part. You're going to have to make sure that, oh, I'm watching the video about South Africa, so I'm going to go ahead and do these SRQs today. And then tomorrow I'll watch the next video and do those next SRQs, and keep working instead of trying to do them all at once. This is by far the best way to do this, but it takes your self-discipline. You can do it, and I know you can. Other than that, if you have questions, let me know, and I will see you again later this week.